Hey, it's Chuck, and this week we're going to talk about something that might be just a little bit uncomfortable, that requires some reflection to see where we're struggling in our life, and because we all struggle with this topic, and that's something that we Christians call sin. The world might call it just doing bad things or just not acting the way we should, but it's actually deeper than that and maybe more simple than that. A sin is just any time we choose to do things not God's way. We want to do them our way. It's any time we turn our back on God. It builds up a big divide between us and God and makes us feel distant from Him. And that could range from anything from just saying, hey God, I don't need you. You don't exist. I want nothing to do with you. All the way down to something as simple as just not trusting Him with that problem we have at work today. We like to rate sin on a scale as humans that, oh, this is really bad. And at least I'm not as bad as that person. I'm better than them. But when it comes right down to it, it's all the same. The Bible tells us that. All sin separates us from God, and it's a problem. In fact, that is where all the problems in our world started, is when sin entered the world. God created this world like we talked about in Genesis, and everything was good. And everything still is good. The only difference is sin has corrupted it. It's corrupted the way we see things. And all that starts in Genesis 3 with the story of Adam and Eve. I'm not going to read through the whole story. I'm pretty sure most people at least have some understanding of the gist of it. But the bottom line is these two people that God created turned their back on Him and went their own way. They said, hey, did God really say that? I don't know that He did. But I'm going to do this because this is what I want to do. And they moved down the way and sinned. They built up a divide between God because they turned their back on Him. And then God comes into their garden again. And what does He say? Does He say, what did you do? Why did you go against me? Is He mad? I'm sure He's hurt, but He certainly doesn't act like He's mad. The first question He asks, and this is the one verse I want to read out of here today, Genesis 3:9. God comes out and He says to Adam and Eve, where are you? Where are you? He asks. He knows full well what they did. He knows full well where they are. But He wants them to say, hey God, I'm here. I need you. I've made a mistake. And I'm just looking for you to forgive me. And that's kind of where I want to leave it today, is the fact that when God found out Adam and Eve and what they did, even though they blatantly chose to disobey Him and go their own way and build that divide, just like you and I do every single day, every day, He didn't condemn them. He didn't come out to just totally punish them. But what He did do was say, where are you and how can I take care of your problem? Because the first thing that happened after they sinned, they felt guilt and shame because they were ashamed of the way they acted, just like you and I do when we sin. And God took care of their problem in that moment by making them clothes out of animal skins so that they would be comfortable in their surroundings. And that kind of foreshadows the plan for the Israelites of animal sacrifices during the time before Christ came to the earth. Because to make clothes out of animal skins, you have to sacrifice an animal. Blood had to be shed to cover that sin. And so God set up the system of sacrifices to temporarily take care of sin until God could take care of the problem again by sending Jesus. And it's so awesome that we have a God that loves us enough that He wants to take care of our problems. But again, we've got to overcome the sin and just take the time to put our trust in Him each and every day. And that is so incredibly difficult. Often we can trust Him with the big stuff, but we can't trust Him with the small stuff. We jump in and take over on our own. A lot of times it's the other way around. If it's not a big deal, it's like, hey God, you got this. But if it's something really important to us, we worry about it all night. We can't sleep. We don't rest in God's arms. So that's something I just wanted to think about today, is basically, where are you? And where are you with your sin? Have you given it up to God, knowing that Jesus has fully covered that sin and you can stand righteous before God? Because God doesn't see that sin. God sees your faith in Jesus. So think about that this week. And we'll look forward to catching you next week on Wednesday Wisdom. In the meantime, there's no racing going on right now. A lot of people are just recovering, recharging, getting ready to go out for Pocono, and then we got 3 weeks in a row. So please, by all means, comment below. If you've got any ideas for any Wednesday Wisdoms you'd like to see in the future, leave those in the comments as well, and Jason and I will be sure to try and work those into the rotation. Other than that, have a great week.